Do you hate the thought of working past 55 or 60? Do you hate not being able to live the life you deserve today? Do you hate not knowing what your financial future looks like? It's time to stop doing what you hate. Here's your host, Mr. Harold Green.
Hello, everyone. This is Harold Green of Bright Tree Wealth Management, and it is time to stop doing what you hate. I hope you're having a fantastic day today. I'm doing pretty well, very grateful for today, very thankful. And I'm just really excited to be sharing this episode today. The title of it is The Annuity Trap, Why Safe Investments Hurt More Than They Help in some cases. And today we're wrapping up a series on how to potentially help people recover faster after market crashes and things like that. And I want to talk about one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen people make. And how can I say this? Let me take that back. I don't want to call it a mistake. I want to call it maybe an unnecessary shift in strategy or a mistimed step in the strategy. And because it's about fear. It's a fear-based decision. And I want to get into this. So all investments do carry risk of loss. Past performance is no indicator of future results. All of your investment decisions ought to be made based on a well-balanced, comprehensive financial plan that encompasses all your goals and your dreams and potentially your wants. And so are you ready? 1, 2, 3, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. And I want to talk to you about the dangers of selling out of the market and loading up on annuities because it just seems like the right thing to do because you're tired of losing money in the market. You're tired of seeing your portfolio go up and down. It is a psychological nightmare for some people because it's all about control. They have to feel like they're safe and in control. And that's a mental thing. And I get that. And I'm going to tell a story about a client who left earlier this year, I believe, when her portfolio was up 59% earlier this year. It was up 59%. And the spouse contacted me, who's also a client, and they said, Harold, I need you to put my spouse on a safer mode. And I said, okay, let's do it. We did it, but that didn't work. And they wanted to go on an even safer mode, but they didn't tell me that they wanted to go on a safer mode. The next day, I'll get a phone call saying, Harold, my spouse is driving me crazy because they can't stop looking at the portfolio. It's up $5,000 today. They're happy. It's down $5,000 today. They're sad. So we're just going to go take all this money and put it in a safer investment and let them be able to sleep at night. And I said, well, do they understand that the returns on the safe money product is super low? He said, I'm tired. I don't care what they do. I said, okay, I get it. I get it. Because they had to feel like they're in control. So I said, so what did you guys get? They said, well, we got this investment that does this, it does that. If the market goes up, it makes us money. If the market goes down, we don't lose any money and stuff like that. And said, well, how much can you get out? Well, we can't take out that much. And I said, why? Well, because it's such and such. I said, do you realize that you just bought an annuity? And they said, I don't think it's an annuity. I said, you just described an annuity. I said, you know why I know it's an annuity? Because I have access to annuities. And sometimes what we do is we chop off money off the top of a portfolio for our clients who want to have that bucket of money where they don't have to worry about, hey, Harold, I just took another trip and we blew up the credit card. So that's fine with me because we set up what we call annuity ladders when the market takes off. So when the market takes off, we chop off a top and we put it in an annuity. And what we do is we make sure that as soon as they put that money in the annuity, we turn on an income stream. So I'll give you an example. And this is how we do it the right way versus the wrong way. We set up the annuity ladder. And let's say, for example, you have $1 million portfolio. It gets to $1,000,001, chop 100,000 into an annuity. We turn on an income stream of about $800 a month, and that annuity is drained over 5 to 7 years. It's gone. 1.1 million again in the portfolio, chop. Another annuity, $800 a month over the next 5 to 7 years till the money's gone. $1.2 million this time, chop. $200,000 into another annuity. Now it's $1,000 to $1,500 a month for 5 to 7 years until the money's gone. What are we doing? We are locking in gains and then turning that annuity into an income stream and not having to worry about surrender charges and all these other crazy things, because some people, they sell the entire $1.2 million and they lock it into an annuity with extreme surrender charges, very low growth potential. And then when the market recovers, we're looking at each other saying, oh my God, we can only take out what? $50,000 a year. How much are we making on this thing? This year it made 2%. But because the market was down as a whole, some years you're going to make zero unless you get a certain type of annuity that guarantees you a particular interest rate. But then the money is locked away and you can't take it back out and put it in the market because it is locked up. A life plan needs a well-balanced financial plan, not a fear-driven one. And I had people coming to me with these annuities and stuff like that. And this was a long time ago. Or money in the market. And they're like, Harold, this market, '08, the market is crazy, Harold. We can't stomach this no more. We want annuities. We want annuities. Okay, we want annuities and life insurance. Okay, great. Safe money. That's all my focus was at that time, was safe money. I mean, we had annuities from everybody. We could sell annuities for everybody with all different types of features. And guess what? When the stock market started to recover, people started going to work and their friends were bragging about the 401ks. Oh my God, I'm up $100,000 this month. What about you guys? Like, where's your money? Well, we had a lot of IRAs that we just put on annuities. And let me call Harold. The phone call went like this: Harold, my friends are raving about the stock market and how Apple is going through the roof. How come we only getting 5% of our annuity? I said, well, because this is what you wanted. And this is what I gave you what you wanted, because you were afraid that the market was going to keep crashing. And now that it's not, are you having regrets? Yeah, I don't want to be in this thing no more. And I'm like, well, you're locked in. Well, why are we locked in? I said, because you're locked in because you wanted to lock in and not have to worry about the market going up and down. That's what you said. Well, we want to change now. We want to go back to the market. And I said, well, I don't do stocks right now. We only do the safe money stuff. And the more and more and more I had those conversations where people were buying millions of dollars of life insurance, packing millions of dollars of premium into life insurance policies. And when the market changed, they're like, Harold, I'm not paying this premium anymore. The market is good. I don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. The market is good. And I said, well, how do you plan to maintain the policy? Well, we're not going to do that anymore. We're just going to cancel it. I said, why? You're going to lose all the momentum you're building in the policy. So I sat down with my wife and I said, hey, honey, I'm going to have to make a change in this business because these people are driving me up the wall. 1 minute they want risk, 1 minute they don't want risk. 1 minute they want risk, 1 minute they don't want risk. So I created the Rapid Retire financial planning process that builds all of this into it. You can have life insurance, you can have annuities, you can have stocks. It's not one or the other. It's everything is now on the table. And so when clients are coming to me and they're calling me saying, Harold, the market is down, what do we do? And I said, well, we're not going to go buy a bunch of life insurance and annuities. We're not going to do that. I can change our portfolio and make it more conservative, but what are we doing here? Why are we making that change? Does your plan call for divesting of the entire market when it goes down? The answer is no, it does not. We can make adjustments, but not fully divest. You have to have a balanced financial plan, not a fear-driven one. And I want to contrast annuities with scoop and score and capturing market upside without permanent commitments. That's the worst thing you can do in a horrible situation, is by making it worse, by locking yourself into something that you can't get out of, and then you're going to have these regrets. So yes, we can make it more conservative and then implement the scoop and score. I talked about that, where in the annuities, you can't do none of that. You're locked in. So before you sell everything and you buy an annuity, understand what you're getting yourself involved in. Yes, you may only be able to take off $50,000 a year. You can't take those extra trips. You can't remodel the house. And if you do, you got to take a home equity line of credit. And then you got to take your annuity money and pay the line of credit down over time. I would hear people say things like, Harold, I don't want debt in retirement. I'm not going to do that. And I said, well, you go buy this annuity, you're going to have to. You have to understand what these choices are going to force you to have to do. We don't want any permanent commitments. We want control. We want flexibility. If our plan changes, then our investment strategy can change according to that. But when you throw everything into safe money, you're done. There are no more changes to be made without severe consequences of surrender charges and different things like that. So I want you to avoid what I call financial schizophrenia. That is running from one thing to the next, one strategy to the next. Today it's life insurance. Tomorrow it's annuities. Next thing you know, it's Pokemon cards. Then it's real estate investing. Then it's flipping watches, tennis shoes, or whatever. I mean, you can have a plan, but then outside of your plan, you can use money to chase fads because it's entertainment. I treat it as gambling. Anything outside of a well-balanced financial plan, to me, it's entertainment. It's financial entertainment. So if you want to go and use 20,000 of your money to chase certain stocks or certain themes, you can knock yourself out and do that. I won't touch that part of your portfolio. If you want to buy Pokemon cards, you can do that. If you want to buy Rolexes and flip Rolexes, you can do that. You want to buy Lamborghinis and flip Lamborghinis, you can do that. But that's not the well-balanced financial plan. I want you to avoid what I call financial schizophrenia by running from one thing to the next. And there's a lot of Google searches out there about, are annuities good? Are they a good investment? There's a lot of posts out there debating annuities versus stocks, all of that. And you know what that tells me? These searches there are a lot of them because people are not really working with anyone and they don't have a well-balanced financial comprehensive plan. They don't have anyone coaching them. They don't have ATC. I call it financial ATC. Hey, client, turn left heading, $200,000 to XYZ position and hold for, I don't know, a minute or two and then cross runway, blah, 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 into next, position and then hold and then boom, take off, whatever. You need financial ATC, okay? You need someone helping you to navigate the terrain, right? Headed for a financial mountain crash here. So boom, climb, take flight level 3.2, 3.5, whatever. Boom. Okay, we're up here now. Okay, now we've gotten past that. All right, you can descend to flight level, blah, 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 turn right. Boom, we're good. All right, so you need somebody to help you with this. So don't trade one mistake for another. I want you to visit brightfg.com to book a call and build a real plan. Or go back to the episode titled, Why Panic Selling is Your Retirement's Worst Enemy, to start over with confidence. So thank you very much for listening in to me share this episode with you folks. Looking forward to hearing from you. And until next time, everybody, 1, 2, 3, let's get it.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.